There's a couple people still joining, so I'll talk slow here for a second as we get it started, just to allow everyone to join. My name is Rob Fulton, and I'm on video here for a second just to say hello and say good evening. Thanks for joining us. This is the second of our voluntary benefits open enrollment webinars, and we're excited about some of the new enhancements and some of the changes that have been implemented. But then a lot of the existing products are still there, and it's really exciting just to have a chance to talk about these benefits. Of course, we're right in the middle of open enrollment, and I hope you have made any changes you need to on the medical side or dental or life or anything else going on in your benefits. One of the things we have available this year for voluntary benefits is what we call benefit experts, who can help explain all of these voluntary programs and help you enroll in them. And you can schedule an appointment with them at your convenience. So that's kind of cool this year, and maybe some of you have. If you haven't, please feel free to do that. They can answer questions. They can get in the system with you and actually help you with the enrollment if you'd like to. And so that's something new that we're excited about, and have received a lot of positive feedback about how that's helping some people. So, and then a couple of new programs, a couple changes, and then we'll also review today some of the things that are existing programs that are still in force, still in place, and that haven't changed. So we will probably take our full hour and run through all of those benefits. And all of this information that we're going to go through today is on the website. So the first thing I'm going to do after I talk about, again, some of the enhancements, is tell you how you can enroll in all the different ways. But just to remind everyone that there are a couple of enhancements we'll talk about today, and these are programs that are supplemental benefits or voluntary benefits. And the idea is that these benefits complement and supplement the wonderful benefit plan that the city and county has available to its employees. And the benefit experts on the phone, if you do have any questions, can kind of help you understand how they best coordinate with the other plans. But the idea is that the medical insurance and health insurance and the benefits that you all have cover most of the expenses, but there are always some copays or deductibles or out-of-pocket costs, or certainly some financial inconveniences that people experience upon, an accident or a sickness or something like that. So that's what these programs are designed to help with. And they are reviewed by the Health Services Group, and most of the plans are guarantee issue, which is a big benefit of a group plan, in addition to them being payroll deducted, which is nice, not having to mail in payments. They are, most of them, guarantee issue, meaning that there's no health requirements, there's no exams, there's no questions, that type of thing. You automatically qualify if you're actively at work. So that's a good thing. And I'll say this at the beginning, and then probably you'll hear me say this 4 or 5 more times. The benefit site for SFHSS, right there, .org, has open enrollment 2021, and there's a button for each of the benefit plans for each of the eligibility groups. And when you go into your benefit guide, you'll see a voluntary benefit button, and it has all of these plans. It has some videos. It has flyers with information. Many of them, of the programs, the rates are in there. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever, the 866-528-5360 number that you see on your screen, that's the call-in number where you can have your questions answered. You could also call in if you don't have a lot of time. Go ahead and call and schedule an appointment with someone, or go on to CCSF VBOE, and that, of course, is City County of San Francisco Voluntary Benefits Open Enrollment.com. That's a special website that we put together where you can schedule an appointment to talk with a benefit expert about any of these voluntary benefits. And as I mentioned, also get help with enrollment. So that's a great resource. And then you may be familiar with the Workterra.net. That's the system that we use, that Workterra has had in with the city and county for a number of years, where you can actually do your enrollment if you want to do it yourself. So lots of ways to get help. You can go into the benefit guide and get all the information for yourself to review. You can call the toll-free number with questions or for enrollment. Schedule a specific time where you can talk with the benefit expert, and that can be whenever it's convenient to you, or just go right into workterra.net. And a lot of people don't remember because this is not a website or an address that you use all the time, but your username is the 6-digit DSW number, and if you have a 5-digit one, you add a 0. And then it lists there the password, first 4 letters of your last name, also will accept 3 letters or less, and the first 4 of your social. And if it asks for the company name, it's CCSF for City and County of San Francisco. So I'll flash that screen up again. And if you go into the Open Enrollment website, all of this information is in there, these numbers, these web addresses. And so you'll see this again. But that's the best way to get information and the best way to enroll. The first plan that I'd like to talk a little bit about is the Group Term Life Plan. And this is not a new plan. It's a plan that has been in force for a while. And this is additional life insurance that you can get in addition to what's provided for you through the Group Term Life Plan. And of course, life insurance, as I'm sure many of you know, it's a benefit that's paid upon your death, and it's paid in a lump sum. And there is evidence of insurability on this voluntary term life plan. The premiums are based on your age. So as you get older, the rates go up. It's just like with a term insurance plan you might buy on your own. And if you have information, once again, the rates are on the website, or just pick up the phone, as I mentioned before, and call the benefit expert, and they can walk you through, and you can look at what the rates are and see how they would affect your paycheck. The next benefit I want to talk about is the short-term disability plan. And that, again, is a group plan, and it's available for city and county employees. There's actually 2 different plans. There's one for MEA, and there's one for the rest of the city and county employees. Many people aren't aware of who the heck Kansas City Life Insurance Company is, but they're a life insurance company, obviously in Kansas City. They're rated A by AM Best Company, so they're a top insurance company, and they've been in business for a long, long time, as you can see there. So it's a good financially strong company. And some people might wonder about disability and why it's important. And if you've ever experienced a disability, whether it's long-term or short-term or someone in your family, it really can create some challenges. And a lot of bankruptcies and foreclosures have, come about because of a disability. And workers' compensation, of course, covers on-the-job illnesses, and that's important. But this would be off-the-job coverage, which could be, a number of anything. Could happen to you, whether it's a car accident or an injury, a sports injury, or all sorts of things. So this is a supplement to the California State Disability Income Plan, and it's an off-the-job coverage. And we actually have the definition of disability in there, so it's important, I think, to understand that what total disability means, and it's a fairly liberal definition, and that's good. That's a good thing for someone, and that is that if because of a disease or injury, you're unable to perform with reasonable continuity the substantial and material acts necessary to pursue your usual occupation in the usual or customary way. So if you kind of read through the lines, if you can't do really what you need to do your job, even though you might be able to do a different job, that's the definition of disability. So it's not so restrictive that you have to literally be flat on your back and hospitalized or unable to get out of bed or anything like that. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The plan design is, again, I mentioned there's 2 different plans for MEA and for all others. They're both short-term disability plans. So the idea is to get you to the long-term plan, to the state plan, to Social Security when you need income the most until you can get onto those other plans. Now, because it pays in addition to state disability income, there is a limit to the amount of coverage, which is up to 30% of your income. And these are benefits that are paid non-taxable. So these are paid with after-tax dollars, so you make you pay premiums on your after-tax basis. But because of that, then this is paid to you on a tax-free basis, and that's the better way to go. There is a pre-existing limitation. Anything that you had received treatment for in the previous 12 months, for the first 12 months, that would be considered pre-existing. But one thing that's nice about this plan is that the rates don't go up. So this is actually a little different than most group plans. It's a level premium. So you have an issue age rather than what they say attained age. So your premium doesn't go up, so the sooner you start, the better. And again, it's non-occupational coverage. I mentioned that. And pregnancy is covered as if it were any other illness. So that's a good thing, too. If you're off work because of a pregnancy, that would be considered a disability. Kansas City Life does a really good job on the claims side. We've had good feedback over the years. They have a telephonic claims system. So all you really need to do if you have this benefit and you need to file a claim is pick up the phone and call, and they'll make everything else happen, which is really good. These are the rate sheets, and of course you cannot see them. They're way too small unless your eyes are a lot better than mine. But these are the rate sheets that you will find on the website. If you go into Workterra, if you go onto the benefit guide of yours, you'll see these, or the benefit expert can talk to you and you can actually look at your exact rates. But these rate sheets are on the website. They're in there, and you can download this or take a look at that and see how much the coverage would be. And again, the benefit expert can walk you through how much you would be eligible for. So again, talk to a benefit expert if you have any questions. There's the phone number again, 866-528-5360, or go online, as I mentioned, to healthservices.org, and it's OE 2021. I think there's a green button there for open enrollment. And then you'll see the different employee groups in the system, and there's a benefit guide. You click on that benefit guide, and now you're in your benefit guide, all your benefits. But the voluntary benefits have a page in there where you click, and now you're into this. So everything we're going over today, you can go back and review. And, of course, as I mentioned, and as I'll keep mentioning, in addition to going online, you can talk to a benefit expert. So disability plan is a great supplement, complements the state plan. One of the very nice things about it is it will pay, I believe it's 10 days. The experts can review this with you, but I believe there's payments for 10 days before it would coordinate with any kind of sick pay. So it's a good plan. It coordinates really well with the benefits that you have, and does a great job. So I'm going to move on and just briefly, I'm going to introduce Marcia Thomas. She's with MetLife, and she's going to help us explain the new critical illness and accident plans, because they were with Voya up until this year, and we have changed those from Voya over to MetLife. And the good news is Marcia will go through with you, is that many people will have a lower rate and everyone will have more benefits. So the plans are changing from Voya. Everyone will automatically get MetLife, but everybody will pay less and get more. There may be some ages where you're paying the same, but no one will pay more and no one will receive any less benefits. Matter of fact, everything's been enhanced. So we're really excited about this. If you have an accident or critical illness plan, you're going to enjoy new benefits, more benefits, and the same or lower rates, which is really exciting. So I'll turn it over to Marcia at this point, and she can review these plans.
Great. Thanks, Rob, and hello, everyone. As Rob mentioned, I'm Marcia, and based here in San Francisco, so hopefully you're enjoying the beautiful evening. But yes, we are very excited to talk about the critical illness and accident plans today. You were prior to today, you were offered them with Voya, and we worked closely with the city and county to enhance these plans and keep the rates the same or lower, which is exciting. So critical illness and accident are a nice cushion to help when the unexpected illness or accident happens. We know you have a great medical plan, But there are many things that a medical plan doesn't cover, like deductibles and your part of coinsurance. But even beyond that, there are things like childcare that you may need because you're traveling to a doctor's appointment. Or let's say, I know if I personally broke my leg, I live in a 3-story walk-up. I would probably have to move, right? And the medical plan is not going to pay for that, but an accident plan would. These two plans, when you make a claim, they pay a lump sum directly to you. There's no reimbursement or coordination with the medical plan. We simply pay out, and that lump sum is yours to use however you want, whether it's traveling to get an alternative treatment or childcare or hired help to help you do the things that you can no longer do because of an accident or sickness, or even go to Disney World. It's really up to you to use however you want. These programs are guaranteed issue, meaning there are no health questions or questionnaires that you need to answer in order to get coverage. So you have the opportunity to elect them, no questions asked. As I mentioned, if you are diagnosed with one of the critical illnesses or have an accident, we do pay that lump sum, and we pay it quickly. Also, this coverage is portable. So if you were to change jobs or even when you retire, you can take this coverage with you. So let's talk a little bit about the two plans. So critical illness is the first one. So think of it acting similar to a life insurance policy, right? It's a very simple policy. With life insurance, upon death, you receive a benefit. With critical illness, or your beneficiary, my correction, but with critical illness, upon diagnosis, you would receive a benefit. So the big three with critical illness are cancer, heart attack, and stroke. There's many more things covered. For example, Alzheimer's, brain tumors, kidney failure, severe burn, organ transplant. There's over 40 conditions, and this is a big enhancement from the 8 that were covered, or 8 to 10 that were covered in your prior plan. In light of the pandemic, we also are covering COVID-19 at a 25% benefit, which is very top of mind and very relevant given today's situation or today's pandemic. So you have the choice, as you'll see up above, you can choose $10,000 increments up to $50,000. That maximum is increased. So the prior plan capped at $30K. Now it's increased to $50,000. So if I'm enrolled and I'm diagnosed with cancer, I would get a $50,000 check sent to me. And dependents are also eligible for this benefit as well. So you can choose coverage for your spouse and your children, and that is up to $50,000 each. The prior plan also capped the dependent benefits at a lower amount. So this keeps the plan very simple. All right. So this next slide outlines some of the enhancements. I already talked about the $10,000 up to $50K plan design to keep it simple and give you the most benefits. There's also a health screening benefit, also known as a wellness benefit. So what this means is when you go in and get one of 50 plus health screenings, whether it's a mammogram or a cholesterol test or an annual physical or even a COVID test, you can claim $100 payable to you, and that's per person. So if I'm enrolled in critical illness with my 3 dependents, and all I would have to do is call MetLife, and we would send a check for $400 upon claiming that health screening benefit. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. There are also no benefit reductions with age. A lot of plans out there will reduce benefits as you pass your 60s. That's not the case. If you choose $50,000 benefit, you will get $50,000 no matter your age. You can qualify for payment more than one time. In fact, up to 500% of the benefit amount. So again, with my example, if you were to choose a $50K benefit, we would pay that out 5 times. And these are in the God forbid scenarios where somebody has cancer, they later have a heart attack, then cancer again, et cetera. And then similar to the health screening benefit, there's also a mammogram benefit, and that's in addition to the $100 health screening benefit. So women who get their annual or get their mammogram could claim this as well. And so these things are definitely important to think about as you're weighing the cost and benefit when enrolling, because you can really get money back right away as long as you get your health screening. And then again, on the right, we have listed some of the new illnesses that were not covered under the Voya plan that are covered today. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, COVID-19, MS, severe burn, ALS, many things. And the only thing to caveat is while a good chunk of benefits are paid at 100%, there are some that are paid at 25%, like COVID-19. So, for example, if you chose that $50K benefit, if you were diagnosed with COVID-19 and then hospitalized for 5 days, that would trigger a 25% benefit or $12,500. I had to do that quick math. All right. Again, this is the health screening benefit. There are more than 50 ways to claim it. And what's great about this is I know how cumbersome and time-consuming it can be to submit a claim. Well, we take that away because we offer telephonic intake. So all you have to do is call MetLife and say hi, my name is such and such. I received my annual physical on October 21st. My doctor is Dr. Smith, and I'm enrolled in the critical illness plan. And we will pay your benefit based on the honor policy. So there's no claim forms, no doctor's notes, nothing like that to have this health screening benefit. And again, this is for spouses and domestic partners, as well as child dependents. Each enrolled person is eligible for this benefit. And just to give you an idea of how this plan works, we outlined a scenario, and this is again a God forbid scenario, but in this situation, the employee elected a $30K benefit, and they had a heart attack and received that $30K payment. A couple of years later, same thing, have another heart attack, they would receive another $30K. And then later on, they're diagnosed with cancer, that would trigger yet again another $30K for a total of $90K. And if something else were to happen, they still have remaining benefits left because, again, it's capped at 5 times. All right. So next up, we have accidents. So accidents, the way it works is whether you're playing baseball with friends and you break your ankle, or skiing and break a wrist, or any type of accidental injury, we will pay a benefit. And there is think of it as a menu of what we call events. And each event has a dollar amount assigned to it. And so you'll see listed here all the different things, everything from injury, so a concussion, a broken tooth, a fractured bone, to medical services and treatment. So if you have an accident and you need to take an ambulance, maybe you need physical therapy, maybe you need surgery, there are benefit amounts attached to each of those. There's also a benefit amount attached to being admitted or confined to the hospital, and there's an even higher amount for the ICU. In that pink box over to the right, there's lodging. So if you have to travel or stay in a hotel, or a dependent has to stay in a hotel, you can get a lodging benefit. And also new for this year, there are increased AD&D benefits. And what that means is accidental death and dismemberment. So kind of morbid, but it is a substantial benefit of $10K to $20K. We've also added benefits for puncture wounds, as well as more benefits for appliances. Think of crutches and wheelchairs. And again, all these enhancements, we've increased the benefit amount for many events, and they're all at lower rates. So it's pretty exciting. And again, even though we're reimbursing you X amount for an ambulance and Y amount for a broken bone, it's paid to you in a lump sum, and you can use it to, maybe you need to install a ramp in your home, or you need to hire a babysitter to drive your kids to practice. It can be used however you choose. This menu just gives you an idea of the dollar amount that correspond to each different covered event or condition, and you'll see that there are some pretty big numbers, up to $15,000 depending on your injury, $2,000 for different services and treatments. And as you're enrolling, you can feel free to look at the full menu of what's covered and the dollar amounts. But I think what's helpful is to go through an example just to show how it adds up. So in this scenario, Bill is playing baseball and he's hurt. He breaks his femur and gets a concussion, and he's rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. And naturally, he needs physical therapy to help him get better. So in this situation, you can see there's $300 for the ambulance, $250 for the ER, $150 for the MRI that he needs, $250 for the concussion. His femur injury would trigger $8,000. And all of this, and so on and so forth, physical therapy, follow-up appointments. And in this scenario, the payment would be $10,850. So it definitely adds up. So the moral of the story for both of these benefits is they provide that extra cushion, that extra padding for against any illnesses and or accidents. And we know your medical plans are great, but people especially love these if there's a high deductible health plan, or if they know they're at risk, or maybe you've got accident-prone kids in sports. It's just a good thing to have for peace of mind. And again, there's that health screening benefit that you can definitely take advantage of, even without getting sick or hurt on the critical illness. So any questions? We've got counselors ready to take your calls and talk with you more about the details and more about your personal situation. So feel free to go to this website or call this 1-800 number to learn more. And with that, I will turn it over to, am I turning it back to you, Rob, or to Jay? Let's see, to Jay.
Sure, you can turn it right to Jay Gort. I'll introduce Jay. Thanks, Marcia. That was really good information. We're really excited about the new MetLife plans. They're really an improvement and enhancement from the existing plans that were good plans, but these are just exceptional. So I think I mentioned if you have the Voya plans, you're going to roll over into these plans, which is good news. But if you want to go through them, if you have any questions, might want to enroll in more coverage, feel free to do that. The other benefit plan that we changed this year was the LifeLock Identity Theft Plan. We changed to Allstate Identity Protection. And very similar to moving to MetLife from Voya, we experienced a reduction in rates and an increase in benefits with Allstate. So we're very excited about that, and we always want to try to improve the benefits and give you as employees better value. And so we know that we've done that. And so I've asked Jay Gort, who's with Allstate Identity Protection, to kind of review some of the changes and to spend a few minutes going through the highlights of this plan, because it's a very, very robust identity protection plan, and it's new, and we're really excited about it. So Jay, if you're on the line, I'll let you take it over.
Thanks, Rob. I really appreciate that. As Rob said, I'm with Allstate Identity Protection, and you may know Allstate. Allstate has been around for over 80 years for protecting people's lives in the States, and they've covered our homes. They cover fire protection. They cover automobile, and recently, within the last 2 years, they've started to cover people's most valuable asset, and that is your identity and your personal information. The reason for that is because identity theft has continued to increase, and breaches have taken place across the globe. Not just in the United States, but it really is a global phenomenon, and our information is being stolen because it does have value. And I think that over the last few years, there's always been something that has given me really a good reason to talk about this during the open enrollment season when you have an opportunity to select benefits. A couple of years ago, it was Equifax being hacked and releasing basically all of your credit history for approximately 2/3 of the working public. Last year we had a big thing from Facebook and Google and Capital One. And this year, I think it would probably stand out to be COVID, because COVID is impacting so many people's lives. It's also changing the way that we work. A lot of people are in a work from home condition, and you don't have a lot of the protections at home that you had at the office. You're not behind the office firewall. You're more susceptible to emails that are coming in, and people are becoming victims more often now. There's actually been a 4,000% increase in scams and phishing and fraudulent attempts to get your information because of when COVID started, because we are more exposed. Now, when you are the victim of identity theft, it can really put your life on hold because it impacts you in so many different ways. People have to borrow money to try to get bills paid. People are in a situation where their credit is in a bad place, so they can't advance their lives if they were looking to either buy a house or buy a car or all of those things that have to do with your credit history and people being able to access information about you. So it's extremely impactful and difficult for people that don't have experience with it in knowing how to deal with it. And one of the things that I really appreciate about Allstate Identity Protection is really trying to pivot and being from reactive, where if you are the victim of identity theft, that we can help you, to being proactive and really reducing the likelihood that you're going to become a victim of identity theft. And we actually have that within our subscriber base, depending on statistics, anywhere from 7 to 20% of the public is going to become a victim of identity theft in the given year. And within our subscriber base, because of the features and warnings that we have in place, we've actually been able to reduce our subscriber likelihood to be below 0.5%, which is a reduction of up to 40 times the likelihood that you will become the victim of identity theft. And I think it really goes to say that it's important to note that we are an extremely security-driven platform. So we stay up to date on all the most recent protections to keep your data safe. We consistently go through SOC 1 and SOC 2 evaluations to make sure that we have all the right contingencies in place and all the backup systems, and even going as far as, again, talking about COVID, being able to switch our work site from in office to home and still being able to maintain that same security. And I also want to note that one of the big reasons to look at Allstate as opposed to what was in place before is we do at least have two-factor authentication, which I think is the very important in being able to protect your information with more than just a password. Because of the type of information you are asked to present in our solution or any identity theft protection plan, you're giving up your credit information, you're giving up your driver's license number, your passport, you can give up gaming credentials. So that's got to be as secure as possible. So we do have two-factor authentication that's going to be able to protect you every single time and make sure that your data is secure. So what kind of things do we offer and how do we get there? Before I get into the actual features, I think it's important to share with you that we are one of the very few, if not the only provider that doesn't just scan the internet for your information to help protect you and look for vulnerabilities, but we actually have teams of live operatives that have developed threat actor personas on the dark web over the last 10 years. These people actually get invited into chat rooms and forums where breached information is being bought and sold, and it's not available to people like you and I. It's on the dark web. We don't have onion routers to be able to get into the places that it's being transacted. So just scanning the internet for your information means we're actually scanning about 10% of the available internet space out there. Only 10% is indexed and searchable. So by having our live operatives, we find information that is exposed in the process of it being bought rather than after it's been purchased, and it can now be transacted against you. So it's important to know that we are protecting you in as many ways as possible. And by watching what's happening with identity theft and the vulnerabilities is the way that we continue to increase our products' capabilities and add new features. So the new features that we added this year are really in reaction to what our subscribers need. First off, it's unlimited TransUnion credit reports. Everybody talks about having access to a 3-bureau credit report. Well, we don't want to just give you a 3 credit report. We're going to give you daily access to your TransUnion report. So if you are having a discrepancy with something on your report, you can actually know when it's going to be cleared or utilize. You can better gauge when you can now apply for the new car credit or whatever by making sure that your credit is in this best position for you to be able to do so at that point. We also added help with credit freezes and credit locks within our application, so you don't have to go directly to the credit bureaus. We can help you with that. We've always had $1 million protection, but we've added some additional protections this year, and that's 401ks and HSAs. Again, that's in response to what we see evolving in the market, where it used to be taking over your checking and savings accounts, then it went to your credit cards, then it was opening new credit cards in your name. Well, now the threat actors are going after your 401ks and HSAs because they hold money, but also because they're tied to brokerage accounts that go up and down based upon the market. So seeing something go down doesn't necessarily mean that somebody took something from you. So you're used to seeing those balances not be consistent. So they've been targeted. So we've added to the protection there, but we were the only ones that added that this year. And then tax fraud refund advance. Again, we've seen an explosion in tax fraud refunds people actually filing a tax return in front of the person that owns the Social Security number, and then they get a refund sent to a different address. You end up filing your return. The IRS says they've already sent the money, the refund, and it becomes an issue, and it takes about 9 months to get straightened out. Well, we'll advance 100% of those disputed funds while we work with the IRS to get that straightened out with you. So you're not going to have the financial burden of being without that refund that you were anticipating. So those are some of the things that we added this year. But now I'd like to kind of show you how complete our solution is. And again, it's going to be so much more than a credit monitoring tool that's going to say, hey, somebody's utilizing information against you. We want to be proactive, so we've added a lot of these advanced tools, and one of them is our Allstate digital footprint. And that's a tool that you can use to do a scan on your email addresses, and it will actually go through and pull account information that identifies different relationships that you have on the internet. So now we're going to be able to help you go to one spot, know what relationships you have, and dig deeper into those relationships in regards to what are the privacy policies. Maybe you don't like what their policies are, that they can share your information with everybody, and you choose to close that account. It's going to have links for you to be able to send emails to close those accounts, and really give you the control finally to say, this is how I want my personal information managed. So we've got the Allstate digital footprint, social account takeover. Again, we're all on social media throughout our day. It's either going to be LinkedIn for work, it's going to be Facebook, it's going to be Instagram. There's ways in which we communicate outside of talking on the phone, and we can help protect those accounts as well. And it's really big with families with teens and preteens, because we can have keyword searches that throughout the conversation, it can look for identifiers of drug or alcohol abuse. It can identify cases of bullying, or even in an extreme instance where it might identify somebody trying to groom somebody for a meeting that might not be appropriate. So social media monitoring and takeover included in our project, in our plan. And then we also added IP address monitoring this year. A quick story that kind of goes to the 401k and the IP address and why we're doing it. One of our subscribers, which is an executive at a very large firm, somebody had actually gotten through their work protections and their work firewall and securities, and it was able to install a keylogger onto this executive's computer through a phishing attack with a bad email. With that keylogger, they got the individual's sign-on information and password to his 401k, and through 3 different transactions, they were able to steal over $200,000 out of his account. And he never got notified of those, because since they had control of his computer, they were redirecting notifications and emails and everything else. Well, because of the IP address monitoring, we were able to identify the Trojan. We knew how it got installed. The 401k provider said that it was the customer's loss because he did not protect his sign-on and password information the way that he needed to, and we actually reimbursed all the losses. So it's a tool to help uncover and detect information that's being lost or taken, and just another story in regards to how we want to keep our customers whole. We also added deceased family member coverage because the evolution has been to take advantage of people that they're finding information through obituaries, things of that nature. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but you can see that we've got advanced tools in place to protect you. We've got the identity and financial tools, and being able to monitor your credit. We give you the ability to set up monitoring of either thresholds or different accounts. Maybe, with your 401k, you don't plan on taking any money out. You want to set up a notification that if there's anything withdrawn from that account, you get a notification, and you can use our tools to do that. I think I touched pretty well on the credit monitoring in regards to doing the tri-bureau reports, thresholds, unlimited bureau reports, credit freezes, and then where the rubber hits the road, and I think it really gets important, is our customer service. And that is, we have privacy advocates that are available 24/7, 365, which means if you experience a situation where you need help, you are going to be able to get in touch with a live individual. And when you connect with a privacy advocate, that privacy advocate is going to help you through the entire remediation of your loss. That can be helping get your money back, but it's also all of your out-of-pocket expenses, such as paying for certified letters or paying for a notary or taking time off of work because you had to go down and file a police report. And we also have the capability to have you sign a limited power of attorney, which gives us the capability to work on your behalf, so you don't have to do all these things on your own, and you don't have to be on the phone with us the entire time we do it, but we can actually do it at your behest without you being with us. We automatically start our credit monitoring as soon as you start with us. You don't have to go in and activate. You're going to be covered from day one. Things that you can activate are going to be adding things like your driver's license number, your IP address, the financial accounts. Those are optional things that you can do, but all of that is included in our pricing. I think it's important to note that our pricing, a single bureau plan you can get for less than $8 a month for everybody, for an individual, and less than $14 for everybody in the family. And our top-of-the-line product with all the coverages that I talked about is less than $10 a month as an individual and less than $18 a month for a family. I think we have the most liberal definition of family, which means anybody under wallet, if they live with anybody under your house, in your house, not under, sorry, anybody in your house can be covered, and then anybody that you help financially. So that can be mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, kids that would normally age out of something else, that they're all covered, and we don't have any pre-existing conditions. So again, we want you to be as protected as possible. I think that our rates represent the most value in that you're going to get with all the coverages that we have. We're typically less expensive than anybody else, and we have many coverages that nobody else does, which is why we're being added and available to you this year. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but Allstate actually just released their first couple of commercials talking about identity theft as well. So with that, I thank you very much for your time. And I don't know if I'm turning it back to Marcia or Rob. Who's going to be taking over now?
You can turn it back to me, Jay. Thank you very much.
All right, Rob, it's all yours. Thank you very much for the opportunity today.
All right. Thank you, Jay. And I'm trying to get my thumbnail view here. I'm now the presenter. There it is. Very good. So far, so good here. Thank you, Marcia. And Jay, thank you very much. And to everyone on the call, thank you for your patience. We spent a little extra time on the identity protection because it is so important, and the Allstate plan is so comprehensive. It's so robust, and we're really excited that we're able to move to Allstate this year. The next couple things I want to talk about are not new plans, but they're great plans. They're some of my favorites. Pets Best is our pet insurance plan that's available to city and county employees. And we all love our pets, and pet insurance has become really a nice way to kind of budget some ongoing costs of our pet ownership, because, pets are a part of our family. And we want to take care of them, and we want to provide for them. And it's just like with health insurance in a way. We can't foresee some of the bigger things that might happen from a financial standpoint, be it an accident or be it a sickness. So, pet insurance it's kind of like veterinary services for your pet, just like you have medical services for yourself. And it also can provide some routine and preventative care. So Pets Best is a great program. We've had really good success with it over the years. If you have it and you like it, you're not alone. It's been a very popular program, and we're excited to continue it. Pets Best, if you're not familiar with them, they were founded a while ago, and they've done a great job, hundreds of millions of dollars of claims. They've grown a lot because that business has grown quite a bit. So we did an evaluation, and we still feel very good about Pets Best and think they do a great job. The way that Pets Best works is it's a reimbursement program. So you take your pet for treatment, and you make your payment, and then you have a pretty simple claims process, and you get reimbursed. So it's pretty simple from that standpoint. It's kind of like an identification of your actual costs. So it's a good program. It's pretty simple. This information is, as I mentioned, it's on the website. There is a video. There are two different plans for the pet insurance. There's an accident-only plan, which is very reasonable, and then there's an accident and illness plan. And they have different deductibles and reimbursement options. So you have some good choices there as far as, what's affordable to you, covering an accident only, in case something were to happen and your pet was in an accident, you'd get some benefits. But if you want to spend a little bit more money and know that there's going to be some issues, get some preventative care and that type of thing, then there is the accident and illness plan. And all of those rates and that information, the benefit experts can guide you, or you can find those on the website, as I mentioned. So there are a couple of things just to kind of remember that there is a pre-existing condition clause. Routine types of non-veterinary expenses, you just remember those are not going to be covered, supplements, food, and that type of thing. And then again, just remember which plan that you enroll in and be crystal clear on what those benefits are. This information, more information out on their website is available. It is discounted, which is great. And it's been around for a little while, but we like the program. And again, still feel like it's a great value, and we've had great feedback. So we'll continue to offer that. The last plan I want to talk about is another very popular plan. You may remember Linda Masoli. She's used to work for the city and county. She's a great representative. She's helped us with this plan for a number of years. And the legal plan is really a terrific plan. It's a wonderful plan because what it essentially does is it essentially gives you an attorney on retainer, like you hear a lot of people have. Well, this is exactly what that is. And they have a coronavirus resource center, a lot of different features and benefits that they've put together, which is really great. And basically, what they provide is unlimited, really, legal advice. And you have 24 access for emergency type of situations, and they can help with a lot of different things. So if you think about these benefits, a good way to think about them is that you immediately have a law firm or an attorney that is on your retainer, and you pay a small monthly fee, and you have access to expert legal advice. And the first thing they can provide is advice and consultation. You can call them, and you have access to them to ask them information, to get information on really an unlimited number of personal legal issues. So you can get legal advice. So you always have someone you can ask for legal advice, and they're very responsive. The second thing is that if you needed to have representation because of a legal issue, they would represent you in court, potentially providing, really good advice and representation when you need it the very most. So they can make some phone calls, they can write letters, and essentially they're representing you, and they're available to represent you if you do have an issue. So that's really, really important. That's a very valuable service. The other thing that they can provide is they can review documents and contracts for you. Things like rent and things like, buying something or some kind of a lawsuit that you hear about or you may have access to, or just all sorts of things, disputes with neighbors, with all sorts of things. So they can review documents that you might be entering into and provide advice for you. And then the last thing, and I think this might be the greatest reason to have this plan, and that is that you can get a standard will and a living will and a power of attorney, plus have yearly updates. And I tell people that this is probably the greatest thing that I think I realized when I had my plan was making sure I had a will and making sure if I needed a trust or a living will that I had access to some good advice, because it's really, really important. Things happen to us, and whether we have lots of money or just a little bit of money or property, it's really important to limit taxes and to limit things like probate and other things. So having a will, and that's part of this service, and that's really, really just a great thing. So estate planning issues, renters issues, traffic accidents, there are a lot of things like that that are covered, and it's really valuable. And like a lot of the other benefits, it covers family members as well, and this is really, really important. As Marcia mentioned on one of the plans, it was kind of the god awful thing if you had to have all these benefits, and we never hope that we get in trouble or that we get pulled over or we get a ticket or there's a dispute. There's so many crazy things going on right now, and you could be totally innocent and somehow just find yourself, in harm's way. And it's really good to have the representation and have a legal firm to help you when you need it. And it's not just for yourself; it's also for your spouse, domestic partner, and dependent children under age 18. So that's really, really important. Another thing. We talked a lot about the new Allstate Identity Protection, but one really cool thing about the legal plan is that Legal Shield also has ID Shield. So if you have the legal plan, you can add to the legal plan some really good identity protection as well. And there's a bundled discount, which is really, really good. And so it's a great program to have because you can kind of bundle those two and have some additional identity protection if you have the legal plan. So that's a really good thing, and we're excited about that. The other thing I just want to say before we're almost at our time, if you can believe it, thank you so much for your attention and for logging into this webinar. I'll review this one more time. All of these benefits are available during open enrollment, which is October 1st to October 30th, as you know. And these benefits will begin January 1st, and they're for 2021. And the deductions for these, because these are employee-paid benefits, they'll begin in January. If you have any questions about any of the programs, the pricing, the benefits of any kind, again, multiple ways to find out. Go on to the health plan website, sfhss.org, and click on that green Open Enrollment 2021 button, and you'll see the different benefit guides for the different employee classifications. You go into your benefit guide, which I hope you have anyway, just to review what's new and what's going on with all of your benefits. But in that benefit guide, there's a voluntary benefit page, and you click on that, and all of this information on all these benefits is in there. There are videos in there. You can pick up the phone at any time, and that 866 number, 528-5360. You can get any information. You can do your enrollment right over the phone. You can schedule a time to actually have a session with a benefit expert. Go to ccsfvboe.com. And again, all of this is on the website. Hopefully you received a postcard that looked very much like our very first slide. It also had this webinar address, but it also had this telephone number and these web address. And again, this hasn't changed, workterra.net. That's the voluntary benefit portal or the website where you can enroll. You can also get information, and that's not new. That's been around for a while. So Workterra is kind of your supplemental benefit plan for the city and county employees, and that hasn't changed. A couple new benefits, as we mentioned, but you can go right in there and enroll online. It has the information there on your username, which is your DSW number, 6 digits, add 0 if you have a 5-digit. Password is your first 4 of your last name and first 4 of your social. CCSF, City, County, San Francisco, is the company name. So that's our hour. Went by pretty fast. I hope this was informative for all of you. Thanks some of you who got on your video screen like me, and you had the chance to actually say hello. And hopefully, if you have any questions, you know who to call, you know where to go. Thank you so much for your attention, for joining. Don't forget, open enrollment ends on October 30th. Pick up the phone and go online if you have any questions whatsoever. Be safe. Thanks for all you do for the city and county, and be safe at work and at home. And thank you all so very much. Have a great evening.